All right. Welcome everybody to the Octant community meeting for May 27th. Today we're just going to cover some things about the current upcoming release, what we're working on right now, and some stuff that's upcoming. So first I'll kick it off with the release status. So last week, May 20th, we talked about, we wanted to cut a 0.14, 0.14. And there's a couple outstanding issues that we want to make sure we get into that release. The first one Sam's currently looking at, which is the adding back the HPA printers after we removed them during the upgrade of some dependencies and the upgrade of Client Go. So that'll be getting added back in. So that's in progress, and we're going to hold the release for that. And then the other thing we're taking a look at, which we may or may not hold the release for since it will be part of a nightly, but is we fixed an issue with the Graphviz component, but there's been a report that there's potentially a memory leak when instantiating the new component. And we're triaging that and verifying that now to see if we can replicate it. And then if we are able to easily replicate that issue, we're going to go ahead and get it fixed for this release as well. So those are the two outstanding issues that are pending that will, once they're completed, will allow us to cut in 0.14. The current sprint work is around those fixes. We did some terminal bug fixes. That'll be they're in the nightly now, but they'll be part of the next upcoming release as well. I'm currently working on the ability to apply YAML from within Octant as part of rounding out some of the full-featured editor work that we were doing earlier a few weeks ago when we swapped from the YAML viewer, which was the static read-only view of resources, the YAML that represents resources, to the Monaco editor. This is just carryover from that work that will allow folks to, similar to what you do with kubectl now, where you take a random YAML file and apply it, you'll be able to just paste in a YAML file and hit apply and have it get applied to the cluster. We also revved our dependencies for Angular, updated, I think, 9.19, as well as some other minor JavaScript updates. So all of those will be, the apply YAML might not be part of the next release, but likely it will be. But it'll be, again, it'll be part of our nightlies. So that'll be there very soon. And the Angular update is already merged into master. So that's kind of the work that's been happening since the last week that we talked. And is there any questions, comments, anything people want to know more about with those? Okay, so moving on, I wanted to remind folks of the Octant office hours since they did move. They are on the same day as this meeting now. They start right after this meeting is over. This is the community meeting being that. And then office hours run from essentially 1:30 Eastern until 6 p.m. Eastern, with the last time slot being available at 5:30 Eastern time. So they're in like half hour and 45-minute blocks. So I think there's some later time slots available today. I think all of the earlier ones are already full. So just to remind folks that is there. Again, that is for discussing anything and everything related to Octant, be it plugins, direction of Octant, you just general conversation, you want to talk about it, you want to ask some questions about using it and things like that. It's open for anyone. So please take advantage of that.
Wayne, really quickly, can you update the website as well under octant.dev/community and add the office hours there too?
Yeah, Jonas said he was going to do that, so I blame him for the fact that it's not there.
Yeah, you can blame me for that.
Jonas!
I'll get that done. Sorry.
Thank you, Jonas.
And then into upcoming, I wanted to tell folks that we have a CNCF webinar coming up next week. It's next Wednesday, June 3rd. It happens, I believe, I don't know the exact time. It's in the link. Here, let me click it. It happens at 7 to 8 a.m. Pacific time, whatever time that is. UTC -7. There we go. Yeah. So this is it's going to be a webinar covering kind of looking and understanding a workload within Octant. I'll be leading this webinar, and we'll be covering kind of taking an existing workload that you might have, converting it into something that runs in the cluster, and then really it's about Octant as a tool to kind of get insights and work through any issues or problems and understand how that thing is running within in the cluster. So it might be I think some of the information will be a repeat for some of the frequent visitors to either Octant or this community meeting, but there will also be some new things that I'll be covering in there, more around like usage patterns and how I use Octant in like my own personal cluster and like other things when I'm migrating a workload into Kubernetes. So I encourage folks to attend, and if you can't attend live, it's preserved and up on the CNCF website for people to watch at their leisure.
Hey, Wayne, a couple of items. So, a big advantage of Octant, and I know you've done it before in many demos, is kind of, obviously that visibility troubleshooting component that you mentioned earlier. Would it be worthwhile, and I'm not asking you to change your demo now a week before that, but think about it to basically deploy an app that maybe has a broken config, whether that's, a PV or something that's not working, and then show Octant to kind of show that correlation that this is misconfigured, that's why your app is not working. And then once you fix it, maybe have something that you can troubleshoot by using the logs. That way you can kind of walk them through a scenario of, hey, I just started, I'm a cloud native developer, I just built my app, it doesn't look like it's working. How do I go about troubleshooting that? And then start from a broken config, and then maybe a bug in the app itself that you identified through logging, and then update the app, an idea.
Yeah. Thank you.
And then, I don't know, do you plan to introduce any of the plugins for Octant as part of your presentation? Talk about those?
Plugins will be covered. Yes, it's going to the actual platform itself will be talked about and how it's extensible in the component-based architecture. And then we'll also show off some of the existing plugins that exist and briefly point people to, at the end, there'll be a section where we're going to recap and point people to like octant.dev and how to explore creating their own plugins and things like that. So.
The reason I'm asking is that there's also a plugin that kind of closes up the story here of what I mentioned earlier. And now you have your app running, you debug the issue, you basically fix the config, and then you can pull up the Trivy scanner plugin and say, oh, look at this, I'm using a library that's super vulnerable. I guess I need to fix that next. And you don't need to actually fix it in your demo, but show them how you close the flow of. Now we also have a plugin that gives you additional details about your app that Kubernetes itself cannot provide.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea to incorporate that plugin. So there'll be I'll probably post it to this agenda as well as send it out to folks, but there'll be a pre-recorded practice run through of the demo. I might do it live as well, but just to let folks kind of know what's coming and see what we're going to be talking about. It won't be the full thing because I don't want to reduplicate all of the boring, like here's the intro, here's the outro type stuff. But the actual core content will have like an agenda and an outline. So folks will be able to preview that before next week.
Yeah, let me know. I'll definitely join. And I'm encouraging everybody from the Octant team to be there during the live presentation because folks are going to be asking questions. And while Wayne is concentrating 100% on the conversation, we could answer some of the questions ahead of time.
Yeah, great. All right, so that is all we have. I don't know if Milan or Sam had anything they wanted to add. Doesn't watch their faces. Doesn't seem like it. Maybe Sam does.
No, I think that's everything. For the HPA printers, it's probably going to take a little bit while as well, because I didn't mention this morning in the stand-up, but they added a new feature recently called it's a behavior field for the horizontal pod autoscalers, and you can tune the scaling velocity. And so there's just some extra info on top of refactoring the typed conversions. So it's a bit of work, but hopefully I'll get it done as soon as possible so we don't block the release.
I'm sorry, did we actually say what date we're trying to release? I don't think I heard that at the beginning, right? So I know we're working on it, but I don't think
there's no set. When 9:30 and 9:51 are resolved is when we'll release.
Got it.
All right. And so now we're open QA. Any questions from anyone? We still have about 15 minutes left.
So we can get back our time.
Yeah, great. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Wayne, and good luck on the prep for the demo. We look forward to looking at that. It's awesome.